Hey Kara, do we have the agenda for this session? Do you want me to check the file? Did we spruce it up since we changed it a little for since Jasmine's coming or Yasmin's coming?
I was just looking at it and I think it didn't have Yasmin, but let me look again and add.
I don't think it has Yasmin, but it needs to have the CEH stuff pulled for now because we'll talk about that next month.
Gotcha.
Cool.
And was that it? Yasmin talking about the
Akoa?
ACOA and rural work with rural community.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Awesome.
I forgot to say we can touch base about this format and just kind of seed that discussion for next month and how we're looking to
Yeah.
change that. So that would be a good one. Info shares for 2025.
Yeah. Okay. People are joining in, right? We can share the agenda. I am screen sharing, it says. Is Jasmine here or are we still having people come in?
I think people are still coming in. I'm gonna double
All
check.
right. Sure.
I'll do a scroll because sometimes people slip in.
Mm-hmm. Welcome everybody who has joined. You're in the right place for Care Coordinator monthly info share session. And we're so glad you're here. And you're with your training team, Delight, myself, Kara, Cassandra, Damon, and of course our Care Coordinator liaison, Kat. And our agenda, I'm sharing it.
There's a request to make the agenda a tiny bit bigger, Kara.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thanks.
There we go.
And Yasmin is in. We just need to
Nice.
make her a host or co-host, I think.
Okay.
On it.
Are you going to do that? Okay.
Yeah,
you.
I can give her that
Awesome.
permission.
All right. Yay. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Well, we're glad you're here, everybody. Today we're going to talk about two things, and then we can get your questions and comments when we're done. Of course, it's a 1-hour session. This is for care coordinators. And if you're not a care coordinator and you're here anyway, that's okay too. What we'll do when we're done with the session, we're recording it, and we do place it on our SDS Training YouTube channel for future reference. If somebody hasn't had a chance to attend, or you just want to look back on what we talked about. After the session, and after it's posted on YouTube, which sometimes takes a bit because it's quite a bit of bandwidth and we do get a little busy in the office here. And after we're done with that, we'll give you an email that says, we'll send you an email that says, keep this email. And it's worth 1 hour CEH, Care Coordinator Continuing Education Hour. So we want to make sure that you keep the email. It'll include the agenda, and you're welcome to also keep the agenda if you want.
If you want to participate in this thing.
Hello. Yeah, and that's a great reminder that it's a Zoom, so you're able to share your audio and your video at any time. Typically, we just wait till there's Q&A time for that. Otherwise, we ask you to just make sure that your audio is muted. You could share your video or you could choose not to. We'll do our best to try to keep a hold of everybody's audio and visual sharing so it works out for everybody. Okay, so keep this email. Make sure that you keep the actual email, not just the agenda, because that is what you can turn in with your application for certification as a care coordinator, and that will show 1 hour CEH in the subject title of the actual email. Okay, so good stuff. Today we're going to talk about the Alaska Commission on Aging with the wonderful presentation and conversation with Yasmin Radbod, who's with the ACOA, ACOA as we call it. There are different projects and connections they make are very exciting. And we really want to share with care coordinators this work. And then we'll talk about the formatting for this particular meeting for 2025. We bounced it around in our team and thought maybe we could, we had an idea to make it a little bit easier to track and for you to get a certificate and to access. We get a lot of questions about that. So we'd be more than happy to run that by you today and get your thoughts about that. I think that's all I have right now to share as in the beginning of our meeting. So I would like to go ahead and invite Yasmin to go ahead. I'll stop sharing the screen.
Okay.
And take it away, if you will.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. It's so great to be with you all today. So my name's Yasmin, and I'm our Rural Outreach Coordinator at the Alaska Commission on Aging. Let me minimize this or something.
You know, Yasmin, we can't see any of the
Oh, good.
go-to controls. I know that it looks like it's over your presentation, but we don't see them. So you're good to go ahead. Like I
You
know
read my
that
mind.
it
Yeah.
happens all the time. You're good.
Thanks, Delight. So as rural outreach coordinator, I'll make sure you have my contact information as we go along. So I kind of travel all over the state. I'm based remotely here in Anchorage. Our commission is based in Juneau. So I cover most of the state. I do a lot of outreach, and we're going to cover a lot of resource navigation today for seniors specifically. Marty is our program coordinator too. He's in our Juneau office. So he's right now at the Southeast Elders Regional Coalition Summit, which is awesome. So we publish the state plan for senior services every 4 years and an annual senior snapshot on aging in Alaska, the data of what it means to be a senior here. And that's on our website. We have quarterly board meetings that are in a different part of the state 4 times a year. So 2 weeks ago, or about 3 weeks ago now, we met in Kotzebue and we split our commissioners up and we visited Selawik and Kivalina, 2 nearby villages. In previous years, I've been with the commission for about 6 months, so I'm pretty new. But we have rural representation. Actually, Dr. Reverend Chief Anna Frank, a wonderful elder in the interior community who served for many years on our commission and really encouraged that we travel remote, we travel to rural parts of the state. So that's why we move those board meetings 4 times a year. We host elder listening sessions when we visit a community or senior listening sessions. We collect feedback on our state plan for senior services to monitor in between those 4 years. Are we meeting our goals? How are things going? Are folks getting the services they need statewide? We have a Facebook page. I publish a post every day to our page about aging in Alaska. And we have an e-blast service, which you can sign up for on our website on that link. And we'll make sure that everyone has access, has a copy of this. So don't worry. So what's that flyer say again? So a lot of outreach at conferences, events. Recently, I was at a will clinic at the Palmer Senior Center helping write wills with Alaska Legal. And so I take this kit of all these resources with me wherever I go. This Google Drive link, actually, this is brand new, so I'm excited to share it with you all, opens up to a Google Drive folder of all of my outreach materials. So, everything on this table and more. So I'm going to go ahead and just show that to you as well. So if you click on that link, that's going to open to the Alzheimer's and Dementia Action Collaborative Resource Library. So Marty and I at the commission, we both are part of the communications work group for the collaborative, which is funded by the Mental Health Trust Authority, which I know you all are familiar with. So we've got Alzheimer's and dementia resources. If you click on that, that's going to open up to the materials I have on our table when we do outreach. If you click on this Word link document, it's going to open to a ton more stuff. There is a lot of, things in here to peruse, and this is still in development. We haven't really launched this, but we're sharing this internally with the collaborative and our network to get feedback on it. So I would love if you take a look and let me know if there are more resources that you are in need of, or if you know of more resources that I'm missing. So we've got some materials from SDS here, Medicaid waiver, office hour flyer, of course, ACOA's materials. So this is also with the Action Collaborative. We're making a public, it's a SharePoint calendar for any nonprofit, professional, for state agencies to post on this SharePoint calendar where they're doing outreach, what community are they visiting, or is Social Security coming to visit, so that's going to be launched soon. So I'll keep you all in the loop with that project. So the Healthy Aging Checklist is one resource I've been working on. And the idea was to take, the essentials and put them in one place. So instead of having 20 flyers, have one with, let's get all of the basic resources. Are you looking for a memory screening? Are you in need of Alzheimer's and dementia support? Are you familiar with the Medicare Information Office? Financial and legal support. What happens if you're incapacitated? How do you write, what is an advanced healthcare directive? What does that mean? How do you write a will? Are you 65 and over? Do you have senior benefits? And of course, information from the Senior Voice, which is an awesome statewide senior newspaper. Whoops. And if anyone is interested in having the Senior Voice mailed for free to your community, Older Persons Action Group, statewide nonprofit, they publish the Senior Voice. And any like community center, nonprofit organization, agency can have a box of Senior Voice papers mailed to you for free every month. So if that's something that your community is interested in and you find, the October issue just came out live today, which is awesome. It's a great resource. Please be in touch with me, and I'm happy to connect you to the folks at Senior Voice if you would like a box mailed every month. They also take submissions. You can write an article if you like. And I'm going to click on the directory here at the top. It's tiny, Senior Voice website. And this opens to the directory for older Alaskans, which I think most of you are familiar with as well. I always just mention about the mailing part because a lot of folks don't know that you can have them, mailed to a community center for free to have distributed. Another thing I wanted to highlight, the Fresh Start program. Sorry, I'm not zooming in here. So Fresh Start, this is a Department of Health program for free. You can get assigned a coach, if you will, who will help work with you on, your goals for weight loss, or if you want to quit smoking, if you want to lower your blood pressure. Last year, over 4,000 Alaskans participated in the program, and it continues to grow. They can help you over the phone, texting. So it's a really cool opportunity for our Alaskans. Health Tie is a really cool nonprofit that I really wanted to share with you all. So Jacqueline Summers, she's the director. She's here in Anchorage. She connects entrepreneurs, startup companies, and you might be familiar from the Improving Lives Conference because she had a lot going on there. So she connects entrepreneurs and startup companies with communities who can benefit from those services. So Map Habit, you might be familiar with. That is also in our resource library that's growing. There's a ton of cool apps. And these are, programs designed by people who were trying to find solutions for their own loved one that they were caring for, whether it's a loved one suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia, or a loved one living with a disability. So I just wanted to show you that flyer here real quick. So here are some senior technologies for independence and caregiving from Health Tie, and Jacqueline's information is here as well. So there's a ton of cool apps to take a look at here. She also put a QR code to each one. So this is really good for caregivers, this resource. Okay, so kind of getting to the juice of the meat of today, I guess I should say. So there's a new resource app that's launching in Alaska with Alaska Impact Alliance, called the 907 Navigation app. And we have a little demo I'm going to show you. And this is also a call for your input. So very excited to take a look with you. Here we go. So Casey Warner is with Alaska Impact Alliance. She's going to show us a little bit about this resource app. And we can definitely like answer, questions, anything that comes up. And I'll share a little bit more after we watch this clip.
Get that screen shared, and then we will start.
Okay, there we go.
Are we supposed to hear something?
Yeah, I was going to say we might need to reshare your screen when you sometimes if you don't hit the how can I describe this? You'll have to stop your share, reshare, and as you're selecting your slide, your screen, you need to make sure that you check the box that enables sharing sound.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
It says audio.
Yeah, you'll just have to
Okay.
just be slow when you select what to share because there should be a little area that says select sound. And if you don't have it, then we won't hear it.
Google
Got it.
Translate currently
There you go.
offers. So I'll choose English. We're going to go down. And then you'll get an opportunity to choose your location. The way that these are separated, they're separated by the state of Alaska's regions that are broken out into borough or census areas. So you'll get your chance to upload here which area you would like to check out. So we're going to do statewide. And then
you
it's
can also do a zip code, right? Zip code search, or you can have it use the current location you're in if you don't want to choose a location.
Yes, you can. It is completely uploaded with all of Alaska's zip codes. So if you're not sure what region you're in, you can do that by zip code or by geolocation. Once you get into the app, you're going to have this small tutorial here where it's going to say, go here to identify community resources, which is based on the location that you've chosen. Check your eligibility. This is an eligibility calculator that we're working on building out. It's going to help individuals see if they are potentially eligible for different social service supports. We have our systems here where you're going to go in navigating different systems. So we're going to dive into that a little bit more further on. Here, you'll be able to go to links or videos that you've favorited within the app. So you'll have a little library of all the things that piqued your interest as you're going through the app. Settings, you can change your language and your location after the fact if you are maybe traveling to other parts of the state and looking for services or navigating different systems. Here we have Alaska, we have our resource Raven. So this is an AI chat. It is still in the process of being trained. So we've got to train him with different questions and upload other content into him. And then he'll become an interactive chat space for individuals accessing the app.
It does, sorry, Casey, I'm just going to intermittently add things too, but right now it's using ChatGPT for so that it'll give you what a normal ChatGPT bot will give you, but we're also training it to redirect you back within the app to resources that are already there. So you have really specific information.
Yeah, and I will give a little demo on that too. So here we're at the first space for resources. The way that we have our resources separated out is based off of the 100% communities, 10 vital services. So you can see those 10 here. You can click on the space. We also have at the bottom, we have Alaska 211. So you can click 211 and it will actually take you directly to their site. And then you can go back into the app and you can recommend a resource. If you see something that is missing from our app, you can fill this out and send it directly to us. And then we'll go through and verify everything, and then it will automatically get uploaded into the app.
Can I make a disclaimer there? So what we're loading for as far as resources as communities are doing community assessments, they're giving us lists of resources in their community that we're loading into the app. But also a lot of communities haven't done assessments. And so we're just using like the information on 211 and Google to feed the resources that are on here. What I will say is that we're not inputting resources that are given to us that are like maybe somebody's phone number. So it has to be a publicly available information just to protect us for liability purposes. So even though, like, for instance, smaller communities gave us, Susie, who does childcare down the street, this is her phone number. We're not going to put Susie's number in the app. We're going to do something where either there's a Google map that can, that has a link to that, or a website or a Facebook group or something like that as far as the resources that are listed.
Yeah, so this, I just went and clicked on housing security while you were talking, Charity, and this is what that list of resources will look like. You can heart them to add them into, oops, I clicked on it. It will take you directly to their website from the app. And then you can also hit the heart and save it. And it's now going to be in that folder that I demonstrated on the home screen. So you can come back and see it later. We'll move over. Charity, did you have anything else on the resources before I move over to the calculator?
I don't think so. The way that we have, the way that this is being managed is we have an administration panel, which basically is a page that we manage, where if you go and you recommend a resource, it instantaneously gives us a notice that you recommended a resource in Kodiak. That's the one you gave us, and we just double check it. And as soon as we hit publish on the AIA website, there'll be 2 new pages that say 907 navigation resources, 907 navigation systems, and you'll be able to see it live on the AIA website, and also the app instantaneously will be updated. So anytime we need to change information, we're not relying on anyone else to have to manage that. It can just be the community tells us what we need to update, and then or the organization does. And then so this is, the app can be used by your clients that you serve, anybody in, Alaska, and also you as people who are doing direct services. You can use this to help people navigate things. But then also I will say that if you're on our website landing pages for the 907 navigation, you're going to be able to print lists. So let's say you want to print a list for a client because they're maybe not app users or something like that, then you can print a list for them of available resources. I will also clarify that we are not collecting user data. People are not creating individual user logins for this app. We are not tracking people's data. We're not tracking individual information about them. What we are tracking is what kind of resources they're looking for, where the most use is happening, what items people are favoriting, and that kind of like more traffic data than anything else.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there and let's take a closer look at these 10 vital services so we know what we're talking about there. So 100% communities in Alaska. I'm not sure, at Improving Lives, how much detail this went into. We had an exhibitor table. So, but this model was developed in New Mexico, and then it was first adapted in Alaska by folks in Central Peninsula. So different community members came together and decided they were going to start their own 100% communities for Kenai. And then Juneau copied it, and Metlakatla picked it up. And then it was picked up by Alaska Impact Alliance. And here we are turning it into a new resource navigation app statewide. So specifics on a timeline as well. I spoke with Casey today. They're hoping to have their soft launch the end of this month. But this is an ongoing project. I hope that was just a short clip of the demo. So I'll make sure you have a link that you can, I think it's about 30 minutes in total, and they go into a lot more depth. So this is a growing project that relies on community input. So there's 5 services for surviving that this doctor in New Mexico identified. And then when you have those 5, then you move into what are your services for thriving? And, early childhood education is mentioned here. ACOA came into the conversation, I think, when they realized that senior, services and disability services aren't already built into this conversation specifically. So they wanted to make sure that we can help provide information for the app. So let's take a look. So if you have, can be a little convoluted, but Alaska Impact Alliance has asked us to help collect what are called perspectives, scenarios, and then the solution. So basically, they're hoping to get real lived experience from Alaskans. This is an app built by Alaskans. So for example, we're collecting information on senior services specifically. Here's an example of a perspective. I'm a birth parent being investigated, a scenario, some different options. So from this jumping off point, for example, another perspective, I am an adult child caregiver who is looking, who is taking care of my mother who was just diagnosed with dementia, for example. So from there, where do I go to find resources on dementia in Alaska? What resources are close to me in my community? For example, there's Alzheimer's Association has a 24-hour phone call service. So if an individual, anyone is ever in a situation and is having trouble with Alzheimer's or dementia with their loved one, you can call that number. So that would be one example text answer or one resource that exists that I can offer that person. So they're asking us to have these perspective scenarios and a written answer in text, and then any helpful links. So links to any like YouTube videos, any public, websites. I think Chastity mentioned, so it has to be a public resource, so we can't share anything that's not, existing, that's available for anyone for that service, right? So I'm going to go back. They've broken down into a little bit more detail here. The flow of the system section within the app goes like this. So if I'm a user, select a system like Office of Children's Services. For us, it would be selecting senior and disability resources. So we'll see a list of perspectives, some examples, scenarios, questions, and then they're looking for the answers. So here at the bottom. So here's what we need from you, given your experience in this area. Compile a list of perspectives, those status options to choose from that lead to navigation scenarios. Then we would like your top 5 to 7 most asked questions from that scenario. What kind of questions, do you have when you're in that situation? And then provide the text that says how you would instruct someone in navigating that scenario. If the answer is not statewide, then please specify which area it applies to. I think you get the idea. This is a really broad project. So any situations that you want to contribute, any scenarios that come to mind, you can email those to me directly. if you are very passionate and you want to be involved in the planning of this and, really be on the senior and disabilities team for the app, I'm happy to connect you to Casey. And her email is here at the top as well, Casey Warner. Otherwise, you can send me those perspectives and sample, answers. And I'm going to be compiling those and then sending those over to Alaska Impact Alliance. Okay. Should I pause for questions? This is kind of a lot.
Really quickly, this is Kat. We're gonna share your PowerPoint with everybody. So the links that we put in the chat and all these emails, addresses, and all those other links, you guys are gonna get them, so you don't have to write them down or scramble for them. So you'll have all those resources. But yeah, if anybody has any questions so far, this is a good time to put them in the chat or raise your hand and ask away.
Well, thanks, Kat. Some more updates. So I'm gonna chapter resource navigation. In rural outreach, we also have been working on identifying underserved communities that could be accessing funds like Older American Title VI funds for tribes, specifically for elder nutrition, transportation, and services. So Title VI, that grant cycle reopens next year, next fall. So that will cover, it's a 3-year cycle, fiscal year 27 through 29. And we want to help as many interested tribal communities get this funding as possible. So if there's anyone, and in your communities, in your network, that would qualify if they are a tribal entity and they're interested in, for example, starting a congregate meal service for their elders, or if they want to start congregate meals, if they want to start like an in-person, group dining option, a daily lunch for elders, like at a senior center or community center, or if a community wants to start a Meals on Wheels program and they want to have meals delivered to elders, that's another option. Transportation for elders. This grant also covers transportation. Nutrition is required and you need a minimum of 50 elders to qualify. However, smaller communities can join together to make up that quota, and it's elders age 60 plus. So definitely I can send you all that information. If anyone's interested, let me know. Of course, it's election season as well. I wasn't able to be there in person, but we worked with Fairbanks Senior Center and Foundation Health Partners, their local senior council, to host a municipal and borough candidate forum. That was earlier this week at the Fairbanks Senior Center. So this is a really great time to engage with your local council, assembly candidates, mayor candidates. And then, of course, we have our state legislatures election coming up next as well. So AARP is a great resource if you're interested in getting involved in policies and making those kinds of changes. And all that information's in the Google Drive folder as well from AARP. They're also looking for legislative advocates, volunteers to support their policy priorities. What else? So we're working with Senior and Disability Services to hopefully next year is the plan to host the first Title III and Title VI provider conference. Why is that important? So we host quarterly teleconferences in between our board meetings, and those teleconferences are on different topics that are important to seniors and their providers. And so we end up in conversations like, in my community, we can't have a prescription delivery service. And maybe there's someone else on the call in another community and they go, oh, well, we have a prescription delivery service in partnership with a program through our fire department. And, here's our model, and maybe you could replicate that in your community. So when we host those teleconferences, our last one was on senior transportation in Alaska. There are important pathways. There's, dialogue that when one community might have a solution and another one is looking for it, and we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So we're excited to be working on a conference to bring statewide, our senior providers and our tribal elder providers together to create that sharing and dialogue. Let's go move forward. So senior farmers market nutrition program. So they are $5 vouchers, and it's a total of $40. Some of you are probably already familiar. This is from a USDA program that's available in the summer. So there's two working pieces if your community is interested in offering this. So you have $40 coupons that are available they need to be picked up from a local distribution site. Usually a senior center is distributing and signing up folks for those. Sorry, they're produce vouchers. Sorry, if you're not aware. So you can spend these coupons at your local farmers market. So you get $40 worth of free produce every summer. If you're, like it says on the right here, for folks age 60 and over, by September 30th. And then there's some requirements I explain on how that works. A proxy form is available. So if someone else, needs to pick up the vouchers and produce on their loved one's behalf, you can use a proxy. Yeah, they're good through October. So you have a distribution site in the community that has to be certified through the state. So that's an application process. And you also need your farm stand to be certified with the state to participate in this program. So you have to have an organization or somewhere that's willing to be a host site to distribute the coupons. And then you need your local farm vendor. You need one farm stand that is certified to accept the coupons as well. And those participating farm vendors need to produce a minimum of 1/3 of their own, whatever they're selling, their produce that they're selling. There's a few more requirements I kind of explained on the bottom. So the vendor also needs to have a consistent location for 8 weeks between July and October. And that's to make it easy on the seniors in your community so that they can access using and, spending their coupons. This is a program at ACOA that we really want to see grow next summer. The WIC summer program at the state, they're in the process of hiring a new coordinator specifically for senior farmers market nutrition program, this one, and for WIC's summer component as well. So please be in touch if, kind of make a sticky note or table this. So application for 2025 vendors. So the farm vendors is first. That's open February 1st through May 15th. And then your application to distribute coupons is a little bit later, and I can send you all that information. We're working on, I think for next year, we'll have a guide, like a simple resource guide that explains this process, because it can be difficult if, you're just getting oriented to all of this. Yeah, so we'd love to see this program expand outside of just, these are, this year's distribution centers in the Valley, in the Peninsula, Fairbanks, and Anchorage. So
You have a question.
and happy to,
Yasmin.
yes.
in the chat, it said, how can we provide feedback that there needs to be an alternate pickup location in Anchorage next year? Most elders can't easily get to Ship Creek to pick up their vouchers.
I would love to talk to you further. I would say email that to me, and you might already have Sarah Slater's contact. I don't know, yet when they hire the new person. Well, might have another person that we're working with. So I would say if you want to send that to me, and we can compile all those notes, because I have some notes from other communities that are in other difficult situations. So yeah, Kenai Senior Center, one of their staff, is great. And this summer, one of their leads went down to Homer to train the Homer Independent Living Center on using the coupons for their local community, because otherwise Homer residents were going to have to drive all the way to Kenai to get their vouchers to then go back and spend in Homer. So I get it. We're keeping track of all of that. Okay. Yes. Time-wise, I think I've got just.
You're fine,
let's see.
Yasmin. We could take
Yeah,
whatever
you're
time you need. You're good.
Okay.
We love this. Thanks, Yasmin, for, sharing with us.
Of course. So at ACOA, we also write articles. We try every month in the Senior Voice paper on what's happening throughout the state. This is a map from the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Office. So if you're not familiar with them, that's also in the Google Drive folder, their info. But they recruit volunteers to visit with elders in assisted living homes, in nursing homes. And you listen to seniors' needs, and you help facilitate solving any issues or problems they might have in their living situation. So they're really great. This is a map of where assisted living homes are and where the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Office operates. So over the summer, I had the chance to meet with Agnes Sweetser, and the Yukon Koyukuk Elder Assisted Living Facility there. It's a great article. It's, if you search in Senior Voice, it'll come up. If you're interested in starting an assisted, in your community, if your community needs an assisted living facility and you don't know where to begin, again, contact me. But the Small Business Center, going to, let me show you the website. So the Small Business Center Development Center, at UAA, has a toolkit for opening an assisted living facility in Alaska. I'm happy to, connect you further with them. We're planning on doing a teleconference. This will probably be like in about 6 months. But with the development center on opening an assisted living facility and bringing in some partners so we can do a presentation on what that looks like. With Alaska Housing Finance Corporation, they have an assistance loan program that so you can have in a home 3 to 4 beds as an assisted living home without going for something grander. So that's a good starting place. Also, there's some different options is my point, depending on the avenue that someone wants to take with an assisted living home. When it comes to, rural and remote communities, I know it's a lot more difficult to get an assisted living facility going. So over the summer, Danakanaga's Elder and Youth Conference, and this assisted living facility is in Galena in the interior. They are, fortunate to also have a charter school, the Gila School there, and they have students who are building a traditional smokehouse for the assisted living facility for elders to use. So we want to just help facilitate and support more assisted living facilities in Alaska so that people can age in place and be healthy and happy and eat their traditional foods. This facility in the article, Agnes talks a lot about their, local community participation and so when we were in Kotzebue for the for our board meeting, we met at their long-term care facility with Manilik, and they are, the first and only here FDA approved facility where they prepare traditional foods, and in their long-term care facility, their elders get to eat that every day, which is really remarkable. And they worked really hard for their FDA approval in their canning facility. So that was a little all over the place. Alaska Housing Finance Corporation, their that assistance loan program is kind of on hold at the moment. So I will, happy to connect you as there's more developments on that. They're kind of restructuring, I think, how they are going to expand their programs moving forward. And I wanted to share just some more community resources. If your community, if there are infrastructure issues, Alaska Municipal League has a wonderful website, Alaska or akfederalfunding.org, for federal grant opportunities for Alaskan communities. An AFN grants catalog, that's in that Google Drive folder. And that's federal grants for tribes. And Alaska Federation of Natives has grant navigators throughout the state that will help tribal communities apply for federal grants. Alaska, so the Tribal Cooperative Extension Service at UAF, their flyer is also in the Google Drive folder. So they can offer teaching, training on how to store food properly, how to preserve meat, how to can. They have a ton of different opportunities available, and they send out. They just announced. Let me share that with you. A new micro grant for food security as well. Actually, that's going to be in my email somewhere, so I'll make sure I get that link for micro grants to you. Rural CAP, I wanted to touch on. There's a lot happening at Rural Alaska Community Action Program. So they're also a statewide nonprofit. Their Resource Basket newsletter just came out earlier this week with some grant opportunities for tribes and any nonprofit. Their youth and development grants, I think it's 6,000 to about 16,000. There's no match required. And that's a ongoing grant you can apply to. Just remembered another one that I will make sure to include. So youth and development grant funding for creating, for example, an intergenerational event where youth can learn from elders, or a culture camp or something like that. Alaska Humanities Forum has some really cool storytelling grants. I think there's one through October 15th still available. So maybe you want to share stories from elders, and make a video or record in another format. And then Rural CAP, the RAY program, that's an AmeriCorps youth program for rural Alaska youth to create their own, for like 18 plus, to create their own youth program for younger folks in their community. And you get a stipend, education award. All this goes to say, Rural Cap also this year, their AmeriCorps Seniors program recently added Senior Companions. And Senior Companions are volunteers age 55 plus who volunteer with other seniors in their community or other elders. So maybe that means visiting with an elder at home, maybe taking an elder, helping them get groceries. So this is a really cool program. They have both elder mentors and senior companions. So elder mentors are folks 55 and over who mentor youth in your local school anywhere in Alaska, and senior companions volunteer with other seniors. You get a $4 an hour stipend. I know that's not much, but it's tax-free. So we often, hear from elders, they don't want to risk losing benefits. And so you don't have to worry about that because it is tax-free. Paid time off, paid federal holidays. The mileage is, I think, 67, I don't remember the mileage, maybe 67 cents a mile. Meal reimbursement, $5. So most volunteers make about $200 a month total, and it's 5 hours a week of volunteering. So it is a commitment of 20 hours a month. And an extra perk is that you get to come to Anchorage for an annual conference with all the other elder mentor and senior companion volunteers around the state. So that's really cool. And it's an awesome group of people. And I'm just gonna, our Facebook page, my goal is for this to be an ongoing, resource that you can refer back to. So I post, like I said, every day, lots of different resources here. So I would definitely recommend taking a look. And let me minimize that. I wanted to touch on, let's see where we are. It's almost 3. Any questions? Okay, I'm gonna keep going a little bit longer. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the virtual dementia tour. It's about a 10-minute experience where your senses are augmented and you immerse yourself in what it would be like to live with dementia. So we are working with Alzheimer's Resource of Alaska, AN Care Lab, which I'll click on and show you, and Aleutian Pribilof Islands Association to bring virtual dementia tour to Elders and Youth Conference and AFN. So Elders and Youth will be October 16th only that day from 12 to 5 across the street inside City Hall at the Anchorage Equal Rights Office. And we'll be directing people. I'll be at our exhibitor table at Elders and Youth signing people up. But you'll be able to sign up for a 30-minute time slot on either the 16th or during AFN on the 17th to walk across the street and experience VDT for yourself. And there is a little bit of an introduction. They kind of, prepare you for it, and then a debrief afterwards, which is why it's a 30-minute time slot. And I wanted to mention, we're super excited to partner with Anchorage Equal Rights Commission. They're kind of a subsidiary of the statewide, the State Commission on Human Rights. So another resource, if you are ever experiencing discrimination, whether that's age related or race or, whatever, you can visit Alaska State Commission on Aging, and Harley is a great resource. She's listed here. She's in the Anchorage office. But you can report discrimination to the State Commission for Human Rights. And Adult Protective Services is for reporting any abuse on vulnerable adults, which I know you all, I think, are well familiar with. I should have put it in the PowerPoint, but we also have magnets with important phone numbers. So if your, your local community organization or office wants to order a bunch of them, we'd be happy to mail them to you. There's no cost, and I just want to show you the magnet. Thought I saw it and did not. Here we go. Okay. So if you need these for your community, reach out to me and we can mail these your way. I mentioned I was at a will clinic in Palmer recently. Alaska Legal Services Community Justice Worker Program is super cool. Their brochure is in the Google Drive folder. You can, for free, get trained in debt collection, Indian Child Welfare Act, how to write a domestic violence protective order, how to write a will, how to apply for SNAP, and how to do appeals. So you can choose to get trained in one of those 5 areas, and in exchange for, having a free training, and it is through APU's Blackboard system. It's online. So these are the 5 areas you can get trained in. In exchange for the training, you offer to help, an Alaska Legal Service client do the thing you got trained in. So I did the will training, and I help write wills for Alaska Legal clients in need. So it's a really cool way to empower yourself and learn new skills. This program, if you're interested in connecting with their directors, happy to facilitate that. They have done some pilot programs like in Kodiak with CANA and throughout the state, but for employees to get trained in these different areas. There are folks who are, I think, starting their own businesses too after getting trained. So lots of cool stuff in the works. And yeah, I knew I wasn't going to have time to ask you all questions today. Maybe that's another day. But please reach out with any feedback you have, because that's what we're here for, to improve and senior services and make sure everyone can age with dignity and independence. So thank you all so much for today.
Thank you, Yasmin. This has been just wonderful, very inspiring, and I'm so glad that you could join us. And I really think we should put together another session too. I mean, it's just so much for 1 hour and totally worth it. So yeah, this has been super duper. I know we had another topic that we talked about, but we'll talk, it's an ongoing thing that can wait. And we'll go through that at our next session. And we get a lot of chances to interact with our care coordinator community anyway. So we so reach out in other ways. But this is exactly the kind of thing that we love to offer with our CEH component. Very educational and very, very valuable. So thank you so much for your time. It's been a valuable, fun, and inspiring experience. All right.
Thank you. And I think we are gonna host like a virtual resource fair in the future too. So sign up for our e-blast, and yeah.
I'm psyched to be part of anything we can be part of, anything that we can support. Okay, well, care coordinators, we'll go ahead and close this session for today. Look for our communication ongoing, and of course your CEH, and we'll just keep at it. And we value each and every one of you and what you do, and excited to do more and learn more. All right, thanks everybody. Goodbye for now.